Hi folks, if like me you want to be able to make vinyl stickers at home but you've never been able to do it because you need expensive equipment, well I found a way to do it a lot cheaper than normal. I have a laser printer, I have a craft cutter. You don't necessarily need the craft cutter, but it does help if you've got one. Let me show you what I'm going to make. I've pulled these off of the front of a lawnmower. I can't find these anywhere. I need to be able to reproduce this sort of stickers. I've done a few tests, as you can see there, and it actually works. So let me show you what I've done to make this happen. Right, okay then, so I'm lucky enough to have this Cameo silhouette cutter and also a scanner. So what I want to do first of all is to put these in the scanner so that I can get the actual things into the computer. So that's what I'm going to do now. There we go, just put me upside down. Face down. Fire up the scan software. All right, and all I've got to do is hit the scan button. And these are the two images saved on my PC. Let me have a look at them. Right, now as you can probably see there, for some reason that's cropped the edge of that one, so I'm not too happy with that, although I can fix that in Photoshop. And the next one, that's the two images anyway, so I'm going to work with what I've got. Now I'm going to open up Photoshop. I've got Photoshop CS3. You can do this in any Photoshop. I'm going to open, choose a new page, and I'm going to go for A4 because I only use A4 paper. That brings me up an A4 sheet of paper. I'm just going to pull the borders out so I can see the edges of the paper and move it to the centre of the screen. So that's my blank A4 sheet of paper. I then click File, Open, locate the folder of my PC where I keep all my scan pictures. For example, Scan Pics. There they are. I'm going to take this one first and then click Open. That opens in a separate window. So I don't know what the size is of that, but I'm just going to press the move tool at the top there, put my mouse anywhere on the image and just hold the left mouse button down and drag it onto the page behind. And I'm hoping that's going to be sized for the correct size. So it's now on my A4 sheet of paper. I don't need the big image anymore, so that can come out. So there's our A4 paper with our logo on it. Now again, I could redo this, but I'm going to just go with this for the minute. So I'm just going to zoom in by just dragging that box there, as you can see. Then I can move that little box over where I need it, and as you can see, I'm able to sort of get closer. So I'm going to make a copy of this piece here, and then I'm going to superimpose it on there. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to get this, if you keep your hand on the polygonal tool, and then just click lasso tool. I can now take this lasso tool and literally just draw around the part I want. For example there. And join it up with that. And as you can see, I've made a dotted line walk around that bit there. This is the bit I want to move to put it up here and on the top. So I'm going to hit Edit, Copy, and then down here I'm just going to click Edit and Paste. Now you can't see it, but that's actually made a copy of that bit, and the way you see it is you go back to your Move tool, and as you can see, a box has now appeared around where I've cut. It's a separate layer. It's created itself as a separate layer, so I can now put my mouse over that and lift it up and move it. As you can see there, look, I've moved that little bit there, and all I've got to do is just swing it round like that. I probably ain't made it quite big enough to know me, but there you go. I can sort that out, it's not a problem. And all I've got to do is just to stretch out a little bit. Drop it down just a little tad more. If you're uncomfortable with moving the mouse like that, you can also drop it up and down and sideways with the arrow keys. I'll do it with the arrow keys now. Look, as you can see, I'm dropping it down. And there you go. Just click the tick the box at the top. As you can see, we've replaced that outer edge there now. So I'm just going to do that with these next 3 bits, and I'll see you in a second. Well, just before I do that, I just thought I'd show you this. As you know, that little bit we put in at the top there come up as a new layer. So if I turn that little eyeball off now by just clicking on it, you can see the actual thing, it disappears, look. So turning it on and off will make that eyeball come back and bring it out. Now, because that one is pretty similar to the one at the bottom there, rather than me have to go through all that again, I can just duplicate this one, this layer, there. So if I right click on that layer, and then say duplicate layer, a copy of that layer will appear as it just did there, directly above. So providing I'm on my move tool, that new layer, as you can see, which I've just created there, I can now move that one by holding it down, bringing it right down to the bottom, flip it around by holding the corner tab and just spinning it up the other way, putting it in position, just ease it up a little bit, I think that one just wants to be turned a little bit more. There we go. And there we go. I've just done the top and bottom just done, and I just duplicated. Now this one's slightly different because it's got a lighter colour here, so all I'm going to do here is do exactly the same as I did the first time, and then duplicate the layer and then just transpose it over to the other one. You haven't got to see that, you've just seen that done. I'll see you in a minute. Right, so I'm just going to bring in the other file, which is using the file and open. There it is on my PC. One click on it and open it. That will bring it in its own little box there, as you can see, but I want that on my A4 page, so I'm just going to hit the move tool at the top there, put the mouse somewhere on the page and left click, hold it down, and then just drag it onto the page below. It then comes onto the page below. I don't need that one now, so I can close that up. And for me to move the top one, I need to obviously move my layer to that one, and then that one can be moved into the center, for example. There we go. Click on the one below it again, and then just move that to the center. Right, I'm happy with that. Now I'm just going to print these out on a normal piece of paper first, just to see if they're the right size. Right, my printer of choice is a HP Hewlett-Packard Color LaserJet Pro M252DW. It is a laser printer. Let me just open the front up and show you. This is how you install the cartridges. It's a black, blue, cyan and yellow. I've never put standard cartridges in these. I've always bought copy ones. As you can see, I've got two left here. I've got the laser blue and the laser magenta one there still to use. And I can buy a set of 4 of these toners to fill this up for about £34. They're so much cheaper than they used to be, and the quality is obviously very good being a laser printer. So let's just shut that door up. The paper goes in the bottom there. I've just got standard 80 GSM paper in there at the moment. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm just going to click File, Print, and let's see that print out now, and let's hope it's the right size. If not, I'll just resize them. There we go. Right, so here's our print, and I'm just going to measure them against the original stickers. And as you can probably see there, exactly the same size there for that one, and exactly the same size for that one. So I now know that I can save them images on that page, and they're the right size. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to choose my folder where I want to put them. I've got a folder called Lawnmower Stickers, so I'm going to put them in there. And I'm going to call it Briggs & Stratton Sprint 375, and I'm going to save it as a PNG file. There's the other ones I've got in there at the moment, and I'm going to click Save. Right, now this is where the magic happens. This is my Cameo silhouette cutter, which I'm just going to turn on. This is basically a craft cutter, and I use this to cut vinyls. And this is what I also used to use to cut t-shirt vinyls as well. But this is window sticker vinyls I'm going to be using with this in conjunction with my laser printer. So when you buy a Cameo, Silhouette Cameo, it comes with the software. You download the software from their website. So there's a little icon for the software. I'm just going to load it up by double clicking on it. And that's version 4.2 at the time of me doing this. This is the actual Cameo Silhouette software. So you've got a few settings first of all, which you'd want to set up. So I'm clicking the window, the open the page settings panel. There we go there. And this is where you set your size of paper. Mine's set on A4 at the moment. I'm not using a cutting mat. I'm going to be putting the vinyl straight in there. That is a cutting mat if you want to find out what that was. That was a cutting mat. I don't use that. I want some registration marks to appear on the page for when it goes and contour cuts around the stickers. So if you come to the little tab there, you hold the mouse over it, registration marks, click that. The registration marks at the moment are off. I'm going to type 1 Cameo, and as you can see, the registration marks then appear on the page there. So I'm now going to go to File, Merge, and I'm going to locate that page I've just printed. So click on that once. OK. And there we go. That page is now installed itself onto our Silhouette Studio software. And what I need to do now is to create a cut line around that. But first of all, I'm going to print it out with the registration marks on the page. And to do that, all I want to do is go to Print. My printer's set up there. I'm going to go to Preferences. This is the only different thing you need to do. And the paper type, as you can see, is unspecified. Well, I need to change that because I'm going to use the Colour Laser Transparency option. You may or may not want to experiment with them. That's the one I've used successfully. Click OK. And don't forget, at the moment, I haven't done any printing yet, so I'm just going to apply that. And before I do print, I want to show you what I'm going to be printing on. Right, now this is sticker vinyl, stuff you put on windows. And I buy this in rolls of 330mm from a place called MDP Supplies. It's got a 3 to 5 year guarantee. Now normally you wouldn't be able to do, or I didn't know you could do this. I've only done the trials myself and I found out that it works fine on my laser printer. So you buy this and you basically cut it down to A4 size to fit in your printer, and then you print, believe it or not, with the laser toners onto this. And after you've printed on that, you then give it a coat of clear lacquer, normal clear lacquer varnish that you get in a rattle can tin, and that protects the ink. And then you can then use the stickers, and that's what I've been doing, and I found out that it actually works. You can buy sticker vinyl, for example, and it's very, very expensive. 5 sheets of A4 is something like £10 or £7 or £8 or something like that. I buy this in a 330mm roll, 5 meters long, and that cost me just over £5. So you do the maths yourself and work out, is this a viable option? I definitely know it is. I've been using it now. I've done a few tests on it and it works fine. So I'm just going to cut one of these down, put it in my laser printer tray, and then I'm going to print it out with the registration marks on it. We'll take it out of there, and then I'll put it into the Cameo cutter. We'll put some cut lines around it, and it will zoom around and actually cut the decals out as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. Right, so I'm just going to load my vinyl, which I've cut to size now. As you can see, face upwards, the shiny face upwards on this printer. Just lay that in there, shut it up, and just click print. So we should now print out our vinyl with our registration marks, and then we can put it into our craft cutter and cut around them. Here we go. Turn it over, and there's our 2 stickers there with our registration marks, as you can see on the page. So I'm going to go back into our Silhouette Cameo software up here now, and I'm going to hit this little box there, which is the trace outline, or the trace, the open the trace panel. And that opens up this little box here, and I want to select the trace area. Once click on that, and I want to drag the mouse across all these things I want it to trace. So I'm just going to hold the mouse outside there somewhere, hold the left mouse button down, and literally drag a box around the items I want to trace, and then let go. And as you can probably see there, it's basically turned yellow, and there's a bit, I'm not worried about these inner stuff because I'm not cutting them out in detail. So I'm just interested in the outline of these images. So if you come over here, you can click on Trace Outer Edge. Click that. And that means you probably can't see it, but there's a red line just around the outside of these images. So when I feed this into our our cutter now, which I'm going to do now, then press Load Media. That pulls it in. I then click the Send Window tab at the top there, like that. And this is where you set up your cutting depth, basically. You can press the test button down there and it will do a little test thing in the corner. I'll show you that in a minute. On the drop down menu here, I've chose a vinyl glossy. In the drop down menu, there's all different medias you can cut here, so you want to make sure you've got the right one there. Your wheel on this cutter wants to be on number 1. I think mine's on number 2. No, mine is on number 1 at the moment down there. That's where the wheel adjusts down there. Now, if I wanted to do a test cut with them settings, you'd click there and it will do a little test cut in the corner. Let me show you. A little test cut. Just unload it. Bring it over here. Now you may or may not be able to see there, but what that's cut out basically is a square with a little triangle in the middle. And what you need to do is to leave the triangle in the middle, but take the square out around the outside of it. And I'll show you if I can do that. As it's just done there in one go. So that basically means we're at the right cutting depth. If that little triangle comes up as well, then you need to go a bit deeper. And you can either increase your ratchet up to number 2 on the actual ratchet itself. And when you get that result, you know that you've got the right depth. So let me put this back in again now. Right in the corner, as we did before. Take it back in. Load media. And now all you've got to do is click the send button. The Cameo's ready there, as you can see. Click the send button. So it's just reading the registration marks now, and hopefully it should cut out around our shapes. And there we go. So let's just unload that. There we go. Now I'm going to peel this off, but normally what you would obviously do is you'd have 2 there. You'd have you'd make use of the whole paper basically. So I would have printed a load more off, but just for your benefit, all I would do is just pull the surface off. As you can see, we should have our 2 stickers that have been contour cut around. And as you can see, this is the actual vinyl. It's proper window sticker vinyl that you put on your car stickers. Very, very tough. So let's get rid of that. And all I would do then would take these outside, give them a coat of lacquer, normal rattle can lacquer, and then that would be the job done. And these are then ready to use when you peel them off to put them onto our lawnmower. Right, so all I'll do with these now, as you can see, I've just got a clear gloss lacquer there, nothing special. And I would just, obviously I've shaken it first, just give these just a coat of clear gloss lacquer. And then just leave that, come back to them tomorrow, they'll be ready to put on your lawnmower. Well, there you go. That's how I make these vinyl stickers now. And as you can see, I'll just peel that one off there, for example. They are proper vinyl stickers and they are protected from running via the lacquer I've just sprayed on there, as you probably saw. And these are definitely a cheaper way to go if you're doing restorations or making stuff like I do. That's the original stickers on there. I've just powder coated this. You can see that on my other channel if you're interested in that at all. With my new powder coating oven, a little tiny one, or a small one rather. And there you go. That's how you make vinyl stickers the cheap way, using normal sign sticker vinyls, a craft cutter like the Silhouette Cameo, and also my laser printer as well. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's a bit enlightening for you. Those of you hobbyists out there who like making stuff, and as you know, finding stickers is quite a hard thing to do. They are out there. People make a lot of money though selling them to you when you can do them yourself now relatively cheaply. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.